Hello. Did you ever see No Time for Sergeants, the movie? Andy Griffith.
Many years ago,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. Well, I remember seeing that at the movie theater. It was one of those. When I forgot his name. When Andy was whatever his character was trying to get in. Hello.
Mhm.
And he's spitting into the microphone and all sorts of stuff, trying to see if anybody could hear him. Anybody out there can hear us? Give me a thumbs up. Hello. Got a couple of people tuned in. You got one thumbs up. Very good, sir.
That was me.
That, ma'am. That was you.
That was me.
Oh, you did it. Well, very
I
good,
have to
ma'am.
always give us a thumbs up.
All right. So we'll be with you live here in just a minute, or about 3 minutes or so, right after Fox News break coming up. So hang in there. Coming up at 7:30, we've got our very own Senator Mike Lazara going to be joining us in the studio. If you want to chat with him this morning after 7:30, give us a call, 910-333-0139. You got any questions or observations or anything you want answered, ring us up. 910-333-0139. The number is right over yonder, right over Lee's head. We're not sure whether Kelly's coming in or not this morning. There were a couple of she had some some issues going on, some things out there. So Lee's in here, ready to rock and roll just in case.
You ready to rock and roll? And we have a link on Facebook.
Did you sing this morning too?
What's that?
Can you sing a little bit?
No.
Why?
My singing days are over.
What did you sing when your singing days were not over?
Far, far away.
Is that what you sang?
Far, far away.
That was it. Far, far away. You sang
That's right.
just from
everyone. From everyone.
All right, YouTubers, hang in there. We'll be with you in just a minute. I can't play music anymore because they keep blasting us on YouTube if we do that.
But so far, I've only seen once.
So when Fox News comes on, I'll let you listen to Fox News. How's that sound? Another thumbs up. You didn't do another thumbs up, did you? Lee? Okay, good. Thank you. Well, I guess I could keep talking because we still got 2 more minutes.
Kelly's on her way.
Kelly's on her way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good. She texts you?
Yes.
She didn't send it by Skype, did she?
No.
Okay. So she must be listening on YouTube.
She could be listening up. Well, yeah.
Okay. Well, Kelly's on her way. She'll be here.
Yes.
Excellent.
She had a puppy last night, one of her
Yeah.
animals that
Yeah, I
took
know.
sick. So she
Yeah.
was up late with him.
Yeah. My kitty cat wasn't feeling well last night either.
Aww.
I think he goes and eats too much on an empty tummy, and he'll just go gorge himself.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. And what goes in has to come out
Yeah, it does.
in all the most inappropriate places, especially when I'm walking around in the dark.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. Back to the shower. All right, Fox News is in about 1 minute, so hang in there, folks, for that. The computer took over and is in charge. Oh,
That's right.
hate
Can't
that.
mess with the computer.
They won't let me shoot it.
Well, happy Monday morning anyway.
Well, it is
All
Monday
you
morning. It's a
YouTubers.
good way to start. Weather's decent.
Yes. Warmer than I thought. Whew.
Yeah, what is it, about 59, 60 out there right now? Let me see. Well, I can't find my... Yeah, 59. It's somewhere in our viewing area, listening area.
Say good morning to Candy and congratulations. I know she's listening.
Absolutely. Candice.
Candy and Marty.
Yep, they did good.
I know.
It was a well-attended group, and she got a bunch of money. She
course
raised
she
a bunch
did.
of money.
That's what she does.
Yep.
She's good at that.
We need to put her in charge of raising money for us. What do you think?
Oh, yeah, that would be great.
Hold on.
Midterm elections. As Republican candidates focus on the economy and crime, Democrats champion abortion rights.
Polling shows a likely House majority for Republicans. Senate control is still a toss-up, with Democrats hoping to improve on the current 50-50 split.
Fox's Gernal Scott. This week, former President Barack Obama will campaign for Democrats in Georgia and Michigan. The city of brotherly love is loving the hometown team.
The Phillies claimed the berth in the World Series, defeating the San Diego Padres 4-3 in the National League Championship. The Phillies now face the Astros in the Fall Classic. Houston beat the New York Yankees in 4 straight games.
Fox's Ashley Strohmeyer. America's listening to Fox News.
And starting right now is Right Now. Good morning. I'm Rayford Brown.
And I'm Lee Barrows.
And I'm Kelly.
Yeah, she's on her way in the door in just a second.
Yeah, she'll be here in just a couple of seconds or so. She had a little bit of a delay this morning. So anyway, how was your weekend?
It was very busy,
Oh,
extremely busy.
yeah, you had a lot going on.
Yes, I did.
I didn't have anything.
I had a family member that was in the hospital,
Yeah.
but she got out
She's
yesterday.
good to go.
Yeah, she's good to go.
Yeah, excellent. That's what counts.
Yes.
Glad we got hospitals to help take care of folks like that
Yes.
when as needed.
Very, very, very true. Very true. She just had a bad reaction to the anesthesia. So,
she went into the hospital for surgery,
yes.
got anesthesia, then got sick from the anesthesia.
Yeah, it was really rough on her.
A lot of people that you might not even know it unless you
Mhm.
have to go under for the first time. That certain they got different types of anesthetics, right?
Right.
So they want to know what you're allergic to, and if you've never been there before, it's hard to tell. So
Absolutely.
so anyway, I'm glad she's recovered. She's good to go.
Yeah,
and we're
she's
happy
home.
for
It's going to
that.
be a long road for her,
Yeah.
but she's good to go now.
How was your weekend other than that?
Other than that, very pleasant.
Mhm. Weather was not bad. Had
The
a
weather
little
was
blustery
beautiful.
winds yesterday. Some sort of little system is trying to make its way
Yes.
across, and we also have potential for the remnants of Hurricane Roslyn. Was it? It's something in the
like,
Pacific.
Yeah, Jocelyn, Roslyn, I think. I don't
One of those things coming across Mexico, going to go northeast, and we just don't know where it's going to go. It's not going to come as a storm. It may come as some wind and rain.
Right.
That's about it later in the week. Or it might not do anything here. It could just fizzle out before it gets here. It could go to the north of us. I read some reports over the weekend from NOAA about this winter because I'm always interested.
Yes, I
know-
read it too.
Yeah, we're supposed to be drier and warmer.
That's right.
I'm not feeling that way. I'm
Because
just-
it started early.
I'm just feeling a little bit different than that. And now the West Coast is supposed to be drier, and
They are.
the Northeast ain't going to be dry,
Cold
and it's going to be cold.
snowy.
That's what it's going to mean. Lots of ice and that kind of stuff. So up in that neck of the woods, of course, that's an El Nino thing.
Yes.
That's
Yep.
what they're calling it. That's when
Mhm.
the Pacific, the Central and Eastern Pacific Ocean waters are colder.
That's
Than
correct.
normal.
Right.
I never can get those L's and La's straight down.
La Nina, El Nina.
El Nina or La Nina. So this one's supposed to be the El Nina. I just assume look at a Farmer's Almanac.
Well, that's what Kelly and I had read while you were gone on your trip.
Mhm.
A Farmer's Almanac had come out with the winter's forecast, and we were reading that.
Yeah.
And it was saying that we were going to have a colder than usual winter here in eastern North Carolina and chances of heavy snow.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of like the feeling that I'm getting. And I had
Right.
not read that first, but that's Robbie and I were talking about it over the weekend. I'm getting these vibes.
Are you smelling the snow in the air already?
I'm just feeling It
You
just
know,
can feel it.
you can almost smell it and feel it, like when you know a
Uh-huh.
hurricane's approaching.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So maybe with the Rayford, if we have a blizzard, we're going to beat you up.
If we have a blizzard, I'm going to stock up on wood first.
Yes.
And then I'm just going to burn the wood.
I still have my hurricane supplies in the
Hurricane.
my hurricane supplies
Hurricane
in the
supplies.
cabinet,
There
so
you go.
I'm good to go. But Rayford, the weather was beautiful Friday night.
Yeah, and it was even weather was not the only thing that was
That's
pretty.
right.
There was a great score on Friday night.
Jacksonville, yeah.
Yeah,
Cardinals.
come back. The comeback
51 to
Cards.
6.
I like it.
Yes. Oh, they were playing an awesome game. Of course, I listened to it on WSME.
Yeah, you're exclusive
Yes, and
play-by-play coverage.
that's
right
right.
here.
They did a fantastic job as always, and got it right as it happened.
If you can't go to the Cards games, if you're a Cardinal fan, if you're an alumni like Lee and I and my wife are,
That's right.
then you can listen to the game. Best to go, and hopefully I can make it this Friday.
This Friday
night.
night's
Yeah,
homecoming.
it's
We're
homecoming.
going.
And I forgot who they're playing, but gotta
North
kick-
side.
we're gonna have to kick their butt.
Yes.
Go across town to stay
Yeah.
at our home and bring them over. And
Yeah,
let us
we
kick
need
their
to go.
butt.
You know where we can
Yeah.
sit.
Yeah, I know.
You
where
might
we can
bring a
sit.
blanket with you. Whew.
Yeah, you never. can
Ashley
tell.
likes to keep it cold.
Well, Ashley is just so hot blooded up there. We're talking about up in the stands.
Yes.
So
Right.
our cohorts there at WSME, he's a hot blooded guy. That's all
Yeah,
I can
he was
say.
hopping. He was hopping.
So,
He does.
anyway.
They get into it.
All right. Lots of politics going on out there, of course, and more blunders for the president. And we'll cover some of that in a little bit. But let's go to California first.
Do we really want to go to California?
Yeah, we do. When you thought there was no hope for justice and common sense in California, a lot of folks are quietly celebrating the long civil battle waged by a California baker who, for her religious beliefs, refused to make a wedding cake for a lesbian couple. The California court ruled in favor of a Christian baker Friday following a years-long legal battle when she refused to bake the custom cake. Thomas
Right.
More Society Special Counsel Charles Lamondre, he said in a statement, the freedom to practice one's religion is enshrined in the First Amendment, and the United States Supreme Court has long upheld the freedom of artistic expression. I want you to hear about that, what he said, artistic expression. Judge Eric Bradshaw of the Superior Court of California in Kern County ruled against California's Department of Fair Housing and Employment, which had brought the lawsuit against Kathy Miller, a cake designer who owns the popular Tastries Bakery in Bakersfield. I'll tell you, as a former wedding photographer, and I've done over 400 weddings, that's a lot of people getting
That's
married.
a lot of people.
I can understand Miller's point of view, and I support her religious beliefs. I was never asked to photograph a gay wedding, not the same, in my opinion, as photographing a non-white wedding or an interracial wedding ceremony. However, I would likely have had problems signing a contract to participate in a wedding ceremony where it had, for instance, a Nazi or a KKK theme. I would have a problem doing that.
Yes.
I don't have a
yes.
problem shooting a gay wedding, a lesbian wedding. That's okay. You know, if that's what you want, I can understand. I have a problem anybody forcing me to shoot and photograph anything that I don't want to photograph.
Absolutely. Sure.
That's my artistic
That's
right.
right. That's
okay?
right. Exactly.
In my opinion. And I have turned down brides. You know why I turned down several brides? Because of their moms.
Maybe they were exes.
No. Mother of the bride.
Mother of the bride.
Mother of the bride can be a pain.
Yeah. Oh.
And I have
yes.
refused to carry through on weddings where I had problems during the initial stages with the mom of the bride.
Right.
That's my privilege.
That's right. It is your privilege, but you shouldn't be penalized for it
And
either.
I should not be penalized for it. I have absolutely no doubt that a Nazi or a KKK theme wedding would be a problem for me.
I can understand that.
I can also tell you that a defund the police
Oh, definitely.
theme
no.
would not be in
No.
was not going to happen for me.
No,
Y'all can sue me if you want to, but I ain't going to shoot your wedding.
that's right.
That's just the way it is.
Go to the next person in line.
Go find somebody else who's okay with that. So this lady should never have been brought up on this complaint. The California Housing Authority?
Why them?
Really?
What has that got to do?
Really?
It's baking a cake.
Employment and housing? No. This is up to her to pick her clients.
That's right.
I'm not comfortable with certain things.
And then the people should move on.
Move on. Find somebody else who's good to go with that.
And now she's going to be penalized because it was her right to say no.
And now she's not going to be penalized anymore because the California court found in her favor.
Oh, that's good.
That's
good.
good.
I'm
That's
sorry, I
good.
missed that.
Yep.
That's
So,
awesome because
anyway.
most every story in California comes out negative anyway.
I know that. For some reason, this one came out okay. It took 5 years and numerous lawsuits against this lady.
I remember when that first broke.
I do too.
I
And it was
remember that.
ridiculous. And I'm
And
like, come on, give me a break.
I didn't know it was still hanging in the courts at the time. That's craziness.
Well, I don't know how much it's cost her, but I hope she can do a countersuit and get her money back.
I hope
That's what
so
she should
too.
do. She should countersue them, frivolous suits, and go out and to get her money refunded.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Too many frivolous lawsuits these days.
Two for sure, no doubt about that. 2 hospital employees killed in a shooting at Methodist Dallas Medical Center Saturday morning. Police have the shooter in custody. About 11 o'clock, hospital police, Dallas police, and Dallas Fire Rescue responded to a shooting call. 2 nurses who worked in the maternity ward were gunned down outside the hospital facility. A hospital police officer engaged and then shot the gunman. He's identified as 30-year-old Nestor Hernandez. He's charged with capital murder and is recovering from his gunshot wound at a different hospital, by the way.
I imagine.
Police say Hernandez is currently on parole. Get this now. He's on parole for aggravated robbery, and he had an active ankle monitor at the time of Saturday's shooting.
All right. Did he take it off or
Nope,
was that
it
a
was
different
still
story?
there.
Yes.
Dallas Police Chief Eddie Garcia called the shooting an abhorrent failure of our criminal justice system. Not the first failure of the justice system, and it
One of many.
certainly won't be the last. This kind of stuff, parolees, people out on parole who shouldn't be out on parole, ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
And there are just way too many of them.
You can't even go to hospital now and being safe.
No, you cannot. If you've ever driven along our nation's interstate highways, no doubt you've seen signs that prohibit walking or hitchhiking, right? You can't hitchhike on an interstate.
No.
They've got those
right.
signs everywhere.
Yes.
If you decide to give it a try, don't be at all surprised if you come face to face with a state trooper. Well, that's what happened in Florida. On I-75, Saturday morning, about 6 o'clock, the trooper stopped to check out the guy he saw walking. Found out that he was 67-year-old Anthony Moray. Somehow, Moray had escaped from a Georgia prison unit and made it into Florida. He was turned over to the Georgia authorities, who we presume will do what they can to keep the convicted murderer. He's a murderer.
Oh my gosh.
Serving a life sentence without the possibility of parole.
Well, how did he get out?
I don't know. It's not his first time, though. His sentence stemmed from a crime in the 1970s, and his escape was not his first. He tried twice before, in 1976 and again in 1985.
Well, he's a habitual escaper.
Those are the people you make sure they ain't going to get out.
You put them in a special room.
Yeah.
Special locks.
And limited contact. Ridiculous stuff. Just totally ridiculous.
Right.
Let's go ahead and take a break because coming up, we got weather coming up. And then after that, we're going to have Senator Mike Lazzara joining us here in the studios. And he's got some good news.
Yes, he does. I'm anxious
about some money.
I'm anxious to hear what all they've been doing up there in our legislature.
And in full disclosure, he's running for re-election.
Yes, he is.
And he's campaigning just as hard as he can.
And he's unopposed. And I saw him at the polls and I said,
we're going to ask him about that.
Yeah.
What he's got to say. Why? Why are you putting so much effort into this? He had a great response.
Yes, he did. I admire him for that.
Absolutely. You're live and local Real Talk. Freedom 97.1, 1120 AM, WSME, and we'll be right back. And we're back. If you got a boat and you like to fish, and you would like to provide an opportunity for Marines from deployed units to have a little fun once they return to Camp Lejeune or New River, you need to check in with George at Tideline Marine. A Marine veteran himself, George came up with the idea to get together local anglers, professionals, and recreational fishermen to take one day to celebrate with a day on the water. The first event is tomorrow, and a number of boaters have signed up and will take off at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. I'll be one of those boaters. I'll be checking in via Skype in the morning, too, for you guys.
Okay.
Hoping to make it bigger in 6 months or so after the next returnees come, George is signing up as many fishing enthusiasts as he can. Right now, the fishing will be done in and around the New River. It's all part of giving back to our Marine families. Tideline Marine, by the way, has some special sales going on right now. Stop in and check out the deals that are happening through the rest of October. Tideline Marine and Family, 159 Old Bridge Street on the banks of the New River in downtown Jacksonville. It's a bit blustery yesterday on the water, but today, northerly winds only 10 to 15 knots, seas 2 to 4, dominant period 6 seconds, sounds and rivers have a moderate chop. Northeasterly winds tomorrow, 5 to 10, seas 2 to 3, dominant period 7 seconds, sounds and rivers a light chop. And on Wednesday, northwesterly winds 5 to 10, becoming southwesterly in the afternoon, seas 2 to 3 feet.
Today, partly sunny, high of 74. Tonight, could be foggy, otherwise partly cloudy, low of 51. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, then becoming sunny, high of 76. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy, low of 56. And on Wednesday, mostly sunny, high of 79.
Oh, that's approaching 80.
Wednesday is going to be the hottest day of this week, if this forecast that I have here stands. Yeah.
I think Mark Price needs to get his short sleeves back out.
Well, he
He
may
announces
need a
every
little bit,
year
yeah.
when he goes into long sleeves.
Well, I've got short sleeves off and on all year long. It doesn't matter to me. And shorts off and on. Good morning. Who's this?
It's the donkey man this morning.
Hey, how are you,
Timmy? I hear you're going to be off tomorrow. You know, you get more time off than Kamala Harris. I don't understand it. I don't know what your pay grade is, but you get a lot of time off.
Well,
these girls don't care because, the Hen House Chronicles is getting it done.
Yeah,
there you
go. Ain't there.
Rock on.
But you're right. He does take a lot of time off.
I take as much time off as I can get off.
I guess he feels like it's in safe hands.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
If it wasn't in safe hands, I would insist on being here all the time. It'd drive me even crazier than I am. I'm already listening. So,
I believe.
And
well,
by the way, we've just been joined and just in time for weather by Kelly. She had some issues.
I know. Well, that's
with it.
always a good thing. I mean, she says it's sweeter than you do, and I bet she'll sit there and sing Robin to sleep at night just doing the weather right there in his ear. That'd be cool. Next time I talk to Robin, I'm gonna ask him about that.
I'm sure he would say no.
Poor Robin.
He probably would.
Yeah.
Poor Robin. He catches hell everywhere he goes.
He does.
He's our guy we have to pick on.
Yeah.
But,
I don't talk to him about his hair. I don't talk to him about his height. I just pick on him about his boss, which is Kelly.
There you go.
So I'm a good fella about it. I want to tell you, I early voted, and you said you had Mike coming on. Tell Mike I voted for it.
He's
so
right
we are.
here.
That's something. Oh, and that's something that me and St. Diane do together. We go out and vote. And I got to meet Jason.
Jason Dedman.
When I pulled up to the board of elections, there's a guy standing outside, and I thought it might be him. And I got out and I hollered, "Well, Scott, so good you had to work the parking lot out here or something?" And he come up to me and said, "You got to be the donkey man." I said, "Yeah, I am." There was what I called about. There was a whole bunch of people walking from I call it the Georgetown Park, walking up, and I asked them, "So what y'all doing? Marching for something?" "Oh, we're marching to vote."
Oh.
I bet there was 25 or 30 head.
Wow.
That's pretty awesome.
And so they got busy real quick. We went on in there. But yeah, I wanted my hat was off to them. I mean, a bunch of them just walked up there and they were having the cookouts and stuff like that at the park.
Oh, that's a good thing.
And it was awesome to see a group of people just walking up to vote.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I really was enthused about that. I mean, I don't care who you vote for as long as you vote.
Yeah.
I want you to vote. Yeah, I mean, yeah, actually, some people I do care about who they vote for, but I want you to vote, and that's what I told them. I said, hey, I'm just glad you vote. And I said, a lot of younger people just don't vote no more.
Well, I'm glad they got
And
a community effort going. That's excellent.
oh yeah, but yeah, Jason, he's a cool dude. And I told him when I walked, I was in a hurry because I want to get in front of them. But I did tell him, I said, but I tell you, I said, you have done a fine job since you've been here. I said, I really appreciate it. And I got my free pen. I was tickled over that. And they said, yeah, if you'd gone to Richlands, you could have got 2. I said, damn.
That's
missed
right.
out.
Tim, I still have some 2020 pens I'll share with you.
I'd be fine. And they're good writing pens. I love them, man.
Well,
I mean, it's,
I get plenty of them every time I go because I vote several times, and they always give me a
oh,
new one every time.
Well, yeah, they will. I don't quite do that. I mean, I do vote twice. St. Diana be right there beside of me. I don't know this guy. What do you think? I said, well, I either voted for him or I didn't vote for him, but most times she's got her own mind made up about most of it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
So
but I just
when are you going to run for office?
November of 2045.
Well, we've got a toad running, so we may as well have
have a jackass.
we may as well have a jackass running.
Oh my gosh, I knew that was
unaffiliated. It's bad, an unaffiliated jackass. Now wouldn't that be pretty on the thing? I tell you who I'd get to be my campaign manager.
Be me.
Yeah, you would be one. I'd have a committee. You, Kelly, Lee, Chris Thomas.
There you go.
And the list goes on.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I'll get off so y'all can aggravate Mike a little bit. But
All
yeah,
right.
I did vote. I think Mike's doing a fine job.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, he is.
All right, y'all be good. I'm going to get off here. We'll see you.
Be good as I can. Thank you, sir.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Sound like a sheep then, didn't he?
Oh, they're stirring it up, stirring it up.
I already got it going. Senator Mike Lazar. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, Rayford. How are you this morning? Boy, walked into
Yeah,
a storm, didn't I?
Yeah, a nice storm.
A
A
nice
fun,
Yes.
a fun storm.
Fun
We got
stuff.
toads, jackasses.
Oh, my
all kinds of
gosh.
Stuff going on here this morning.
A few elephants.
Yeah,
And there you go. And I got some.
I see that. I'm
There's a photo on the
Interesting
wall of
photo.
a couple of jackasses underneath a shade tree down in Bon Air.
They're there too.
Yeah, they are. They
Oh, my
run wild
goodness.
all over the island.
That's not what I meant.
they look really comfortable. under
They
the
do.
tree.
They're just, and they come right
I
up.
think they're everywhere.
Yes.
Well, I got some 4-legged ones that come right
Yeah.
up to the truck and they
Uh-huh.
stick their head inside and look at you. I had one looking. I got pictures of one looking
That
in
was
the
the
mirror.
best picture
I
ever.
always like hilarious to have these guys do that.
That's pretty neat.
So just don't reach out there to try, because if you ain't got something to feed them, they're gonna bite your hand.
Yeah.
So anyway, Senator Lazar, our first question I've got: you're running for re-election,
I am.
but you're unopposed,
I've been very blessed and honored.
but you're out there campaigning. I see signs all over Onslow County.
He's
Oh.
got the most signs out of
Yeah,
everyone.
I mean, I had someone ask me recently about that, and I feel like I work for the people, and obviously fortunate enough not to have someone run against me, but that doesn't. For me, I owe it to the people to ensure that they know that I am running and that their vote means something to me,
Mhm.
and I will run like if I had an opponent, and that is just what I believe. And it's respect for the people that I serve, and that I still want to earn their vote. Votes aren't free.
No.
People need to vote for you, and just because you don't have an opponent doesn't mean you don't go out there and work for it, in my opinion. And so, I had always the intention, and I've always, even in the past when I run unopposed, I've always run the campaign as if someone was running against me. And I'm at the polls because it's a great opportunity to meet people that have voted for you and people that haven't voted for you.
Well, there's always 2 years
there-
from now too.
Yeah, and so for me, it's a good time to do some of that and to sort of be grounded and not forget how this process all works and not be complacent. I never want to be complacent.
I would imagine that a lot of people come up and talk to you, ask you questions.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
and seeking some information and maybe even seeking some help.
Yes,
That happens. That's a great political opportunity.
absolutely.
So
And I'm here to help our Republican cause. So
Mhm.
it gives me an opportunity to chat with people, talk to people, and if they ask me, I will be glad to tell them. So
Oh, that's excellent. Got some good news, apparently. You found some money for us, huh? For the state?
opioid.
Yep.
Oh yeah. I think we've got about
Absolutely.
11.1 million coming
Thank
to
God.
Onslow County over a period of time. We had a great meeting with the Attorney General about a week and a half ago, and the county and city leaders, and having some discussions about how we want to utilize that money. It has to go for certain purposes to combat opioid work, and we were able to do that. It was a good meeting and pretty excited about that. And I believe that there's some more coming as well.
Excellent. That's
So,
good.
I mean, we have a lot of work to do in that space. We're not even remotely close because we're not making any progress.
No.
We've had more deaths this year than we've ever had. Fentanyl is ravaging our communities. We were able to make it a felony, but that hasn't stopped anything. It's killing folks every single day, and so we've got a lot of work to do.
I've never found any drug dealers or drug people who obeyed the law.
No.
They don't care whether it's a felony or misdemeanor or whatever. They don't care what the punishment is. They just don't want to get
Right.
caught.
Well, in my beliefs, and Kelly, you're in this space as well. I think we're attacking this issue on various different grounds, but what we're not doing is addressing the issue, and that's the recovery portion of it.
Mhm.
If we don't help people get recovered, we're never going to make any progress in this issue. And that's one of the hardest pieces of the puzzle is the recovery piece of this puzzle, because, when we did away with the mental hospitals and mental health has just changed in North Carolina. And then over the years, I believe we haven't invested enough in this area to really create an opportunity for people to get well. We've got recovery centers, private recovery centers, we got detox centers, but they're not working. Our system is not working. So we've got a lot of work to do. I was in Cherokee and they built a whole new hospital. Of course, Cherokee's under their own
Right. Yep.
regulatory measures. Anyways, they built a hospital, beautiful hospital. And as part of this hospital, they have a detox center as part of the hospital. They have 15 beds. So from the emergency room, you go right upstairs to the detox center. And then off campus, they have a 12-month long program.
Really?
Yes.
That's
That you go
awesome.
right from there
That's what we need.
to the
Yes,
recovery
yes.
program. And it's not a 30-day, it's not a 15-day, it's a 12-month program, because anybody that's dealt with opioids know that 12 months is a minimum. If you can't stay sober for 12 months, recidivism is right around the corner. So anyways, it's a long story to get to the point of we've got a lot of work to do in this space. So very excited about the $11 million. I have $3 million sitting in an account that we tried to get the 23-hour facility here in Onslow County as part of our Dix Crisis Center, but we've had some issues getting Trillium and the provider to be able to provide that service for the money. And so we're still dealing with that. And it's a shame that we're not able to get that going. That money's been sitting there for over a year.
Mm.
I'm not going to say anything because that'll just get me in a lot of trouble.
Well, no, and this conversation is not about that. You
Right.
asked
I
me a
understand.
question. I'm giving you some information. So.
I'm glad we've got something that looks like it may be at least the beginning.
Yes,
That hopefully that will happen very soon.
absolutely.
No, he just highlights something I've been complaining about
know
for
you
a couple
have.
of years. Yeah. So, but I did want to congratulate him on something.
What did I do? now?
You're now the chairman of the Legislative Affairs Committee of the North Carolina Military Affairs Commission.
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Congratulations.
Yes.
I think that is awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Good for you, but good
Thank
for
you
us.
for that.
Yes, better for us.
It's a big
Yeah,
deal.
absolutely.
I think it's a big deal.
It is a
So,
huge
It
deal.
yeah.
is. I'll tell you, from the moment he got first elected, you hit the floor running.
Well, thank you. Thank
He
you.
hit the floor running. Most people it takes them a while to get orientated, and he just walked right in and just, bam.
But he did it the way it's supposed to be done.
That's
Well,
right.
Yeah.
he also had a
Yeah.
great background in the city
Yes,
of Jacksonville.
yes,
He's been
yeah.
a pro tem
And
for
that
any
helped him
number of
too, I
years.
think. Yeah.
So-
Right.
You knew where the issues were, what the issues were, and,
Yes.
and hopefully how to get other people to help you deal with them.
That's right.
And it seems to have worked.
That's right.
And of course, you came in filling some really big shoes, but
Big
you filled them
shoes.
very well.
Yes.
Senator
So-
Brown was very well respected, and he's
Mhm.
been a great mentor and great friend.
I'm sure he's very proud too.
Go ahead, because I want to put him on the spot with some.
Put
I
Put
have
him
a
on the spot as
question.
soon as we come back.
Yeah,
How's that?
yeah.
All right. You're live and local, Real Talk Freedom, 97.1, 1120 AM, WSME, and we'll be right back. And we are back, and our guest in the studio, Senator Mike Lazara, representing Jones and Onslow counties. And is it going to stay that way, both counties?
No, unfortunately, after January, it'll be just Onslow County.
Uh.
But
Hmm.
I told Senator Jackson that I would certainly continue to help him with Jones since I'm right here and he
Yeah.
has to cover such a wide area.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good because they're part of this community as well.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we all
Yeah.
feel together
Yes.
in our fight against the rest of the state.
And there's some really, really good folks out there.
Oh,
that I've enjoyed,
absolutely.
so.
I know know one of the gentlemen out there, he and his wife, very well. They're good people. Kelly wants to put you on the
Yeah,
spot,
I do. I
have
and
a
I don't know
question
what
for
it
you.
is. So here we go.
I hope I can
right.
answer that.
So
Hope I don't have to leave.
All right.
last year, it was either 2020 or 2021, the federal government raised the age to purchase tobacco products to 21.
Mhm.
North Carolina has not raised their age to 21 yet, although a lot of stores are currently using the federal guidelines. With the rate of youth access to vaping products, which is off the chain, and the middle school population that is using vapes, not only to vape products, but also to vape marijuana, is at an incredible high. What is the state's, when are you guys going to raise it to 21 to try to reduce some access?
Kelly, to be honest with you, we haven't discussed that issue in depth. We've just been dealing with so many other issues, but I can certainly get you an answer on that.
Okay.
We have not discussed it. We've had more discussion on, we raised the age for youth on criminal charges, and we're seeing some issues with that, because I think what's happening is gang members now are
Yeah,
utilizing
they are.
younger kids to
Yep.
commit these crimes. But what these kids don't realize is that that they can still be tried as adults. And I think we need to get that message out. But that's something that we're continuing to talk about. Did we make the right decision? Do we need to relook at that? But not in the area that you have asked me about. But
Okay.
I will get you more information on it.
Thank
Certainly.
you.
It's a good point, though,
It
because
is a great
just like you
point.
said, when they changed the age on it, and then like the episode that we had at Northside,
Yeah.
so
And we're hearing from principals, and we're hearing from, other folks that that age change has had some impact on younger kids committing these crimes rather than the older ones, because they're
absolutely,
and
yes.
it,
Gangbangers will look for them to go out and do the dirty deeds.
exactly.
And
Exactly.
unfortunately,
But just like that particular incident, that I'm not a lawyer or anything like that, but they'll probably be tried as an adult. I would assume.
I see a self-defense plea coming up for that one,
Yeah, maybe.
likely.
Yeah,
That's going to be the claim. But whatever, we'll have to wait and see. What other issues do we have really that you guys are working on, big ones? I know you work all the time. There
Well,
are lots of problems, lots
yeah.
of issues across the state.
Lots of issues. We're going to be working on Medicaid still. Medicaid will be
Expanding.
Expanding Medicaid. We'll have that discussion. Probably medical marijuana is still on the shelf.
Medical cannabis.
Medical cannabis is still on the shelf. We'll be dealing with education. A report came out that our kids have not performed. We've had the worst performance in 20 years in math and
I believe
and
that.
reading. And that just came out this morning. And
That is
that's
just horrendous.
it's really sad news. Obviously, pandemic has had a tremendous amount of impact on our
Yes.
children and our educators
Well, it had the
So,
same impact across the country, did it
across the
not?
country, but
Right.
we're
Why are we
still
still worse?
Well, I'm going to tell you what I think part of the thing is. Teachers now teach to the test and not the basics anymore. They're teaching to the testing. I think we should do away with standardized testing personally,
Yeah.
but no, they're teaching to the test.
So that'll probably be on the table for a lot of discussion. So education, healthcare, medical cannabis, probably, a slew of other regulatory issues. Probably talk about tax structure again. And I do want to make some comments. I think you had a candidate on last week that talked about income, state tax and corporate tax, and had some issues with some of the stuff that we've done. And I think it's a little bit misleading because, our goal is to get to a zero state tax.
Yes.
And I think we're well on the process of doing that.
Good.
We're going to 3.99, and we've increased the deduction, personal deduction twice, going to a zero corporate tax. And, the theory that corporations should not be allowed that is really an ineffective theory, because anybody in the corporate world knows that any investment or any revenues that you generate or you're able to retain typically goes directly to expansion and creating more jobs, replacement of equipment. It very rarely goes to the bottom line. And so
They
that
reinvest in the community. Is what you're saying.
I've been in business 33 years. Anytime I have extra money, I'm replacing a piece of equipment. I'm trying to open up another store. I'm trying to figure out how to reinvest in my business, hire more employees.
higher
I mean,
salaries.
so
yes.
I think that theory just doesn't hold. And in terms of personal tax, our goal is to go to a zero state tax eventually, but obviously you can't do that overnight. But a 3.9 is pretty
yeah.
strong.
That's very
It's pretty
strong.
strong.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Got a caller with a question, no doubt. Good morning, Jennifer.
Good morning. Well, actually, I just wanted to call and thank him. His office is actually one of the ones that contacted me back when I was calling all about mine and Terry's problem. And his secretary did make some calls and get some of the state offices to call me back. Now, we both know that didn't go anywhere, but I did want to call and thank him for his office actually returning a call. And what I'm referring to is I had called your office about caregiver pay.
Mm-hmm.
And in the state of North Carolina, I don't know if you're aware of this, but I'm getting ready to make you aware of it. If you are not on Medicaid, you cannot have a paid caregiver. So 5.5 years ago, closer to 6 years now, he'll be 6 in March, my husband had a stroke, and we went from 2 full-time employees down to his disability check because I can't leave him by himself. He cannot care for himself. And after many calls, they finally said that because Terry was not on Medicaid, the only way we would qualify for the CAPS program is if he was to meet a deductible of $11,574 every 6 months in unpaid medical expenses, which is more than my husband's disability check. So, as far as expanding Medicaid and things like that, there's people like us that fall through those cracks. He got his disability, so he was denied his Medicaid because they say that his disability check should be perfectly fine for 2 people to live off of and pay their bills and everything else. And then got 2 letters in the mail Saturday, woohoo, that we were approved once again for our Medicaid, but the only thing that it covers is family planning. Yeah. Now, that they're paying somebody to send this out, that's just a waste of paper, of time, of resources, of everything.
Well, I'm really glad you called. I'm actually still working on your issue, believe it or not. I'm headed to Raleigh after I leave here. So I'm very familiar with your issue. And just to give you a little bit of insight, what's interesting about that is that they'll pay for someone to come in and care for your husband, but they won't pay for you.
Well, and they told me that I could apply for what is called a block grant.
Well,
and that would have someone come in 3 days a week for 2 hours a day.
Right. They'll pay for someone to come in and give your husband care, but they won't pay for you.
2 hours a day.
Right. But they will not pay for you. But that's why I guess, and hopefully we'll be able to fix that problem before long. But that's part of this health, this healthcare expansion. People look at Medicaid expansion in a different light. It is way different today than it was when Senator Brown was in office, and that, we as a conservative Senate were vehemently against it. No one opposed Medicaid expansion more than Senator Berger in his time in the Senate. But Medicaid expansion, as we see it today, is completely different. And it'll take a long amount of time to explain it. But what I will tell you is that we are still actively working on your issue, and we may have a solution.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Because
but in my office, to answer your question, I run a pretty tight ship. My LA has to log every constituent issue, who they are, when they called, and what the results were. I take that pretty seriously. And I think everywhere that I've had the opportunity to speak, I always talk about constituent issues, because I think that's a big part of my work is taking care of our folks.
Good.
And so we do a lot of that work.
And we do appreciate that.
Well,
Jennifer?
I did want to just call in and thank you for
Thank
that.
you for that.
So, all right.
Thank you,
Well, y'all
Jennifer.
have a great day.
Yeah, best to you and Terry.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, let's take a break. You're live and local Real Talk. Till go away. We'll be right back. And we're back. Senator, what's coming up in Raleigh this week? You got to head there now, right?
Yes.
Okay.
After I leave here, I'm
Yeah.
taking off.
Yeah. So
we sure appreciate you
We
coming
do.
in. It's always great to hear about what's
Absolutely.
going on in our
And-
legislature.
And what's on the agenda this week? Anything special?
No, just we have oversight meetings that we're still conducting in the various committees, and getting legislation ready for after elections, and having internal meetings, still working on fundraising and helping other candidates get over the curb. So we're all over the state helping each other, getting the vote out, getting people to come out and vote, supporting our candidates. We're very close to a super majority, and so that's in our, sort of.
Yeah. I got one. We got a caller.
Okay.
Got a question. Good morning.
Absolutely.
Who's this?
Good morning, deplorables. How are you?
Oh, no.
Hello, Theo.
Good
How are
morning,
you?
Theo.
Good morning, Senator Lazaro. How are you?
Good, sir. How are you?
You doing okay?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
Don't forget about term limits, okay?
Term limits?
Yeah.
It's going on right now. Have you been to the polls?
Not yet, but
Okay.
term limits. I'm talking about you.
Okay. What about me?
How many terms you want to put in?
I haven't given that any thought.
All right. Well, we all agree that term limits is the how many years you served already?
This is my first term.
How many years is that?
2 years.
Oh, 3 years. Okay, so you got a couple more. We'll give you at
Absolutely,
least
he
4 in
better
each term,
stay.
Well, I'm going into my second term, and I think for me personally, I think as long as I can be effective for our community and our people, that I would love to continue to serve. And at the moment that I feel that I'm not as productive or effective for our people, it'll be time for me to hand the gavel off.
Okay. So what I wanted to ask you
Mhm.
first, I'm glad you're looking into the mandate, the Medicare expansion,
Medicaid.
because McCrory had a chance to go and vote on that, but he was listening to your ex-boss there, Rayford, Henry Hinton, or whatever his name is. But McCrory had a chance to put Medicaid expansion, and you didn't do it. But you see, I kept telling Rayford that you should have Medicaid expansion for a long time, but he doesn't want to listen to the Northerners. You know
so
what I mean?
Medicaid was quite different.
Okay, well, whatever. Come on.
Well, it would have cost the taxpayers, a huge amount of money. It would have cost North Carolina in excess of $10 million a year. It wasn't feasible for the average household back then. And again, it's a long conversation, but as we have it today, it certainly is quite different, and we're still looking at it to ensure that it's the best thing for our folks.
Rayford, can I hold on? I want to ask him another question because I know you're going for the 8 o'clock.
Oh, you're good, Theo.
Yep. And he doesn't have a lot of time, but hang in there, Theo, okay?
Yeah, two more questions.
Okay.
All right, as soon as we come back from Fox News, all right? Don't go away. You're live and local, Real Talk. We'll be back in 60. All right, we back, and on the line we do have with the Senator Lazaro, of course, in the office with us. And Theo, you're still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay.
First, before I talk to the senator, I want to tell Steve, your listener, don't forget to put in your jingle, you got to put the word deplorables in there, or else it has no meaning.
He did just fine with that. Leave him alone.
Okay? Please, Steve, change that and put deplorables in there.
Well, why don't you write your own jingle for us then?
Nice try.
And we'll let you sing it too.
So my next question, Senator, is that when they passed the infrastructure, when President Biden passed the infrastructure, he gave a lot of money to North Carolina. What are we doing for Onslow County with all this money? Over $400 billion for, $400 million for roads and stuff like that. What do you got next on Onslow County?
So we've got a lot of infrastructure money for transportation and some various other monies. First of all, we haven't received it yet. And so that'll probably be part of the session. So we'll be able to determine what's coming in and what's going to healthcare or, the various different areas. But part of that is going to go to transportation. And of course, transportation has its own method of distributing funds throughout North Carolina. It goes through a STIP program. It's real complicated, but anyways, we'll be able to hopefully enhance some of the projects in every community, either speed them up or maybe add a project or two. And again, that money may have some caveats to it, so we'll have to determine that once we get that money flowing to North Carolina, and we can actually see where it's going and how we'll be able to distribute it. It's kind of like the COVID money, same thing.
Okay, well, that's good to know that the money's still coming, and we're planning on doing some good work with it.
Well, we'll always try to make the best decisions with the funds that come through our system.
Yeah, we got a lot of bridges and a lot of roads that need help.
We've got,
exactly.
We've got 81,000 miles of road here in North Carolina, and we're significantly behind on a lot of transportation issues. So we welcome that money, but of course, you have to know, Theo, money's not free.
It's how you use it.
Yeah.
Okay, we all pay tax. There's money there, right? The money's coming from our tax. So you're collecting a whole mess of money, 5 cents from everybody. You're collecting a whole mess of money. When you use that money for the people to do as much good as you can with it, right?
Well, no, part of that, but I think a lot of the free money's coming from inflation. The only way to curtail your deficit is inflation, and of course, we're all paying for that. We're paying $4.50 a gallon for gas. We're paying $600 more a month in our groceries. Families are struggling.
Amen.
So I think that there's always a two-edged sword to free money. And I think we're seeing some of that, and I'm not sure that we've seen the end of that. And
We haven't.
And now that you say that, and that is why it's critically important that people come out and vote. We've got a ton of registered voters here in North Carolina, in Onslow County, and we need them to come out and vote. Now is the time to voice how you feel, and that's at the polls. If you're not happy with gas prices, if you're not happy with grocery prices, if our cost of doing business in my business has quadrupled in the last year. We had an economy that was the strongest economy ever since I can remember, and in 1 year's time, our expenses have quadrupled. Every business owner in this community, in the state.
I pay a lot more for a pizza than I did before.
Yeah. And we're, so nothing is free, I guess is my point. And we need voters to come out and vote. So please, if you're a registered voter, please come out and vote.
Yes.
Well, the inflation, is all over the world. It's not just us. You know that, right?
Right. But inflation is the only way you can pay off debt.
Okay, inflation is all over the world because of the pandemic. They're all going through this, not just us.
No, that's not a fact.
Yeah, okay, but and then you said that you want to give corporate tax. The greed with corporation is just too high right now.
Yeah, but that doesn't equate to greed. Zero corporate tax has nothing to do with greed. If you know anything about corporations.
When every time you talk about corporate not giving them the tax and giving them a pass,
they still pay a huge amount of tax. We still pay a ton of federal tax. That basically goes back into these programs that we're talking about. So it all circulates back. But when we talk about state tax, we're talking about creating an environment. We were able to attract Toyota, VinFast, numerous thousands and thousands of jobs in North Carolina. Apple is locating here in North Carolina. That's significant. They could go anywhere in the country. And the way that that's created by having an economic climate so that they can thrive and create jobs and expand their business. It's not a difficult model to understand. Apple, Toyota can go anywhere in the country, and there's states that would do anything to get them in their state. But North Carolina, because of the climate that we've created here, they have located here, and we've got a slew of others that are coming because of our business climate. So when we talk about creating that environment, that has to do with the policies that we've created. And part of that is that zero tax structure, and it's creating thousands and thousands of jobs, bolstering our economy. And that is why our population continues to grow in every community in our state. I mean, we're 11.5 million people.
And these people that are working, that do jobs, they're paying taxes themselves.
Absolutely.
They're paying...
It helps us. It helps everyone here. So
we'll see.
Well, I mean, it's a fact.
I'm taking your word for it right now.
I mean, I'm a pretty reasonable person.
Yep.
Yes, he is.
And a very experienced business guy.
That's right.
Yeah.
And a Marine.
Okay. All right. Now you said you want everybody to go vote, but all these election deniers that are running for office, what do you think about these people?
All these election what?
I'm sorry.
Deniers.
Deniers?
What do you mean?
Yeah, they don't believe the election was. They think the election was stolen.
Oh
well, yeah, but that again, that's a whole separate issue. The issue that we're talking about today is we have over 23,000 Republican registered voters. The number is significant. I think it may be quite a bit higher.
Yes,
but
it is higher.
Yeah,
It's like
40,000 with unaffiliated. Well, my point is that we need you to come out and vote. If you have taken the time to register to vote, we need you to take the time to come out and vote. It takes literally 5 minutes. Early voting, you're in and out.
And if you have not registered to vote,
you could register and vote.
You can register and vote the same day.
Just bring your proof of residency. You come in, you register, and you can vote right there. We need these votes. It's critically important. If you're not happy with the direction of our country, whether it's related to gas, whether it's related to policy, whether it's related to economy, you've got to get out and vote.
Or if you are happy, then vote for the candidate that
makes you happy.
You know, it's up to you. None of us tell you how to vote.
But Theo, thank you for calling, and thank you for
thank you for coming in. I appreciate it, and we'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely.
Good luck
Thanks
with
for
everything.
being an interested citizen, Theo. We appreciate that.
You take care.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah, the one question I wanted to ask, is there any chance of getting one of those big corporations maybe here in the East?
Well, you know, we've been working on that for years. First of all, for a big corporation to locate somewhere, depending on what they do, what work they do, connectivity is a huge part of it, whether they have access to major highways. And then they look at the work pool based on what they do. Do they have a demographic where they can get workers to come in? So, you know, when you look at that triad area, and you have major universities where they can draw from, you have interstates,
right?
It just creates.
We're
now,
lacking that.
Having said that, I think we've got a lot of opportunity for military military
Colt
contractors,
arms.
and so yes, we're always striving for that. But I think Onslow County is a unique place. Our tourism opportunities are huge. We have a lot of opportunity here, but we'll continue to work on that. If we have the ability to get a military contractor to locate here, that would be
awesome. Wonderful.
That would be
forever lasting too. That would be good. Steve, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. How y'all doing?
We're doing fine.
Hey, wanted to ask something to kind of follow up on what Theo was talking about, much as I hate to do that. But Senator, as much as I hate to do it to you, this is kind of the litmus test that I feel like myself and a lot of people have to put to every Republican nowadays. Do you think the 2020 election was fraudulent or stolen? Yes or no?
Do I think it was stolen? Honestly, I really don't know. I think that there are some issues with voting. There's some issues across the country that are facts that could skew votes. We all know that to be a fact. But do I personally know whether it was stolen or not? I can't answer that question. Here in North Carolina, you know, we performed very well, even after experts went and recounted and did some things. But there are still some concerning things that we have dealt with the Board of Election, North Carolina Board of Election, and that we continue to deal with. But as you know, the Board of Elections come under the governor's rule. So there's things that we tried to push through that were vetoed by the governor. And there's things that we're still working on that if we get a supermajority, you're going to see a great deal of change with.
Okay. Here's where we stand, I think it is, unfortunately, is that there's a preponderance of evidence that shows that there was no fraud in the election that would have affected the vote in even a single precinct. And that's a fact. And that's something that Republicans are trying to sidestep and trying to act like that because there were some anomalies and that we've always had in elections, that somehow that equates to that there was going to be an election overturned. Man, this is where it stands. It's either you can look at the facts and see them for what they are, or you can live in an imaginary world where you think these anomalies meant more than what they meant.
So I think the
and
best
you can
way
stand
to,
with the tinfoil hat people, or you can be a logical, reasonable.
Well, I don't have time for the tinfoil hat because, you know, my job is to work on the betterment of North Carolina, to create jobs, to bolster our economy, to build policies that help our military and their families and all of our residents. I'm not sure if you've been listening to this show, but we've got some significant issues in our education system. We've got significant issues in our healthcare system. I mean, we've got significant
good
issues.
For you for staying on point. But you
not
cannot
focusing.
The fact.
Well, it's not sidestepping.
Wait a minute, please, sir. With all due respect.
Okay, go ahead.
With all due respect, stop trying to politic me. You have done some good things, and I get that you're trying to redirect those things.
Well, it's no
but you
redirection.
You also can't sidestep the fact that because of what the Republican Party is becoming, that is an issue, and you can't just keep turning away and putting your head in the sand because it's not stopping. They're not slowing down with it. It's a momentum that's building.
Well,
and if you're part of that momentum, then I cannot vote for you.
I'm not part of that. I'm not part of that momentum. Now,
but then if
did the Board of Elections,
you tell me anything, any facts, any evidence that you've got anywhere that shows that the election would have been overturned in even a single precinct?
I do not have that.
Right now, trying to create the air. Wait a minute. You're still trying to create the atmosphere that there is our elections may have been fraudulent. And you're not coming out and saying, no, there's no evidence anywhere that shows that. The evidence actually shows the opposite.
Well, we have some issues.
Yet here today, you're still trying to perpetuate
all right, Steve,
the notion that it could have been corrupt.
Steve, here's an example.
I'm done. I had to put that point out there.
No. And I respect that. But what I'm saying to you is that as leaders, we still have to investigate and figure out how our system works. For example, we were told that our machines did not contain modems. Well, we found out that they did.
Whoa.
Really?
Wow.
And that's a fact.
Okay, well,
did that create any disruption or did that create some false votes? I don't know the answer to that question. That's not for me. But what I'm telling you is that it is our job to ensure that our election integrity in North Carolina is accurate. And that is what I'm going to continue to do. I'm not wearing a tin hat. It is not one of my priorities.
You are. Because once again, you rose a question of that there's motives in the machine, and you've created the air that there's a possibility for dishonesty.
Oh, there is.
But if you don't have the
always
facts,
a possibility.
who are we going to look to?
There's always
who do
a
we go
possibility
to if you as a leader don't have the facts on that? Why don't you know? If you've raised the question, then you should know. You should know.
Well, voter integrity.
All these people keep sitting there. No, wait.
Voter integrity should always be a concern for the left or for the right. What difference would it make?
It is, but you raise these concerns, but you don't want to answer the question. You want the air of possibility of corruption.
Let me ask you a question, Steve. Would you not want to know whether there's any possibility or there is no possibility that these machines had an opportunity to be hacked. You know,
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. But I
hope
don't
you-
want somebody as a leader to come out and say that and raise this question and then turn around and go, well, I don't know if it's true or not. They keep trying to put this fog out there that there's possible corruption, but they don't want to follow through and find out if it's actually the result, what the facts are about it. Just like the gentleman right now is sitting there trying to tell you there's modems in there. Now, I don't know if that makes it corrupt or not. Why don't you know?
It makes
You're
it
the leader
corruptible.
that raised
It
raised
makes
this
it
question.
corrupt when you're told that there's no modems in those machines and that there's.
I
modems in the
understand.
machines.
So why didn't you dig into it further?
And
Why is it
well,
just
we
an
are.
accusation
Well,
and
we
you don't
are.
have the facts?
That's
Well,
what
we
they're
are.
doing.
Okay, then.
That's what they're
That's
doing.
what we
Steve.
are, and we've got voters
Okay,
that
but
are
that's not
getting.
what you
we're
said. That's not the
getting.
way you presented it.
That's exactly what I said. And we've
You,
got
you
my
presented
neighbor
it as you
got
just don't
four
know. You
different
didn't say we're still
four
looking into
different
it, and
ballots
we'll
in
see
his
how it turns
post
out.
office box that he's had for 40 years. I can give you a slew of information that would make you cringe, but this is not the time for it. And it doesn't matter whether you're left or right. It's about voter integrity. If I'm a Democrat, I want to make sure my vote counts, and it's my vote, not someone else's. And if I'm a Republican,
fully
I
agree
have
with
that
that.
same right.
And I'm independent. I'm trying to tell you this when somebody stands in the middle, man. I care no more
It
for
is-
a Democrat than I do for a Republican or vice
No,
versa.
and
I
I
judge things on the issue.
and I respect that, but to answer your question is that we should always have voter integrity as part of our work, because it is our duty and obligation to ensure that our voters are safe when they go to vote in the booth. And to say that it's 100% accurate, I'd be a liar, because it's not. Whether you're left or right,
Now,
doesn't matter.
I agree with that, but can you understand my frustration?
I
When
do.
People,
I'm not
well,
in
not just yourself, but
I'm
it's a
personally
complete-
not
it's
on
a-
that tin hat that you're talking
What-
about.
What you don't understand, what I mean by that, is that as long as you're perpetuating a fog over the 2020 election that they could have been some kind of corruption, in the absence of any proof after 2 years, you are perpetuating a conspiracy theory.
I am
now.
not creating
It
any
is
of
no.
that.
It is not. Yes, it is, because you're taking anomalies and you're taking a molehill and trying to turn it into a mountain.
Well, no, I think
Everything
you
that has come out, every bit of evidence proves you wrong. If you say that you think there was corruption that would have affected the election.
in
in
none of
any way.
my.
He
Any
hasn't, he
precinct.
hasn't said that, Steve.
You keep
Yeah,
trying to
I
go
understand.
back. You keep trying to go back to, there was this one little anomaly here where we found some issues here,
That's
some
not
issues
little.
here, some issues here.
That's
But
not
until
little.
you've got proof, you don't need to be making these accusations to the general public
He's not
as a
making.
leader.
He's not making.
You're the one making
accusations,
accusations,
Steve. And we
with
do have
all
to
due
take a
respect.
break. But Steve, we do have to take a break.
You can make accusations passively. So don't act like that people are just stupid and they don't know.
I didn't.
He didn't.
I
do
think
that,
you're
Steve.
making that statement, not me.
All right, Steve. Thank
No.
you, sir.
Thank you, guys.
Just make a quick point here because I know you've got to go too.
Yes.
And but anyway, I
People are passionate about that.
They are
on
very
both
passionate
sides,
about that.
on both sides. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that.
I have not
No.
seen any evidence to show that anything that did occur. I have not seen it.
No,
But I don't. That doesn't mean that I don't.
North Carolina performed very well.
Yes, they did.
Yes.
As far as we can tell, there were no issues.
We performed very well. So
Oh, well, you know, every
correcting something
election.
before the next election,
That's right.
making sure there is no possibility. Because if you were told that there were no modems in these machines,
and
it
there's
turns out,
modems in them,
and there are modems in them,
that's quite
that-
concerning.
I got
Yes.
friends with the minor educations, but they're very brilliant when it comes to hacking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and I was in Boston, and they have voter boxes out on the street,
Yeah, I know.
Good.
like
Lord.
That's
like a
scary.
mailbox.
That is totally
Now, if
scary.
anybody doesn't think that's an issue,
That is just totally scary.
but again, that's not in the forefront of my work.
I have to agree with Steve. I have not seen any
No,
evidence
no.
presented. That
I've never indicated that.
I know you have.
You've never heard me say
No.
that.
Well, the whole thing is, we know somewhere there's probably fraud here, there, everywhere.
Well, there has
but
been fraud.
to the extent that our former president claims,
No.
No, I don't think so either. And
But-
it's hard to sit there and like for Senator Lazar to take sides on that because I mean,
And again, we've got the anomalies, like
Right.
he
Yeah.
wanted to call them,
Passionate,
or whatever. But we also know that the one lady was in Chicago. She stood up there and said, "I voted for myself, and I voted for my relatives.
right.
I took their ballots and I filled them out and I sent them all in." And she's on national TV bragging about it. That's wrong.
We've got people that are receiving 2, 3, and 4 ballots in their box. I mean, I can tell you stories, and these are facts. They're not my stories.
Yeah.
Now, did that equate to election fraud?
Right.
That's not for me to determine.
No.
We don't have any facts. North Carolina performed very well, but it is our job to continue to, make sure that we have voter integrity in North Carolina. And we'll continue to do that in areas that we find that are not sufficient. And we bring that forward. And if the governor vetoes it, we can't do anything about that.
That's right.
In law enforcement, it's very simple. There are two things you look for: motive. Well, we know what motives are,
Motive, yeah.
and opportunity.
That's
You
right.
can't get rid of the motive. You can do everything you can to eliminate the opportunity. That's the best
exactly
that we can do in this country, right?
That's exactly
Motives
right.
are going to be there. They're human. Opportunities are created by humans, and we got to fix that problem.
Yeah. I agree.
Okay, that's as simple as it gets in any
agree.
part of what we do in this country, as long as we want to be continuing to be a law and order country.
But again, in my opinion, to end it, I think it needs to be a concern on both sides. It's
Oh, it
not a
better
one,
be.
it's not a
Absolutely.
one-sided deal. All people really want is to know that their vote is counted and it is their vote.
I would hate to.
And at the end of the day, that's really all people really want.
Can you imagine me
Right.
going to the polls, either early voting or the day of the election, which is generally my favorite time to
Mhm.
go,
That's when I
and
vote.
find out that I have already been voted?
Yeah.
Can
Oh,
you
I'd be
imagine?
mad.
Can you imagine
Be
the
mad.
hate and discontent that I would create?
And we find a lot of the voter lists aren't accurate. I mean, there's stuff.
Yeah.
But am I saying that that's fraud? No, but there's
Yeah.
things that we need to work on.
Right.
So anyways,
we need a voter ID.
not to beat a dead horse, but that voter ID, I think, is extremely important.
If I
Now,
can-
if he
if I-
asked me that question, I would have answered pretty clear on that.
Yeah, that's
We
a-
need voter ID.
Oh, I agree.
If I can
I
go, if
agree.
I can't go to the library and check out a book without having a library card,
You
that
can't do anything
that I've
without an
had to
ID.
get because I had to
That's
take
right.
ID in and then to get and prove
It's
that I lived in an
ridiculous.
area.
It's
If
ridiculous.
I can't go to Sam's and put a card in so I can get some gasoline.
Rayford, it's what the people wanted.
That's right.
They
That's right.
voted
We
for it.
voted for it.
And who shut it down?
The people voted
That's
for
right.
it. That's what they want.
That's what bothers me. We voted for it, and then we got told, "Oh, no deal."
Yeah.
So, anyways,
All right.
thank you for having me. I hope you guys have a great week. I hope we were
I feel
entertaining this
stressed.
morning.
Yes.
I
And,
entertaining, but informational.
Informational as well.
And thank
All
you for what you have done for us. You've done
absolutely.
You're
so
welcome.
much.
We'll continue to work hard for us. And again, if I could leave with the message that we really need people to come out and vote.
Yes,
Yeah,
we do.
The figures that you wrote down here.
Right. We have 117,882 registered voters in
Complete
Onslow
voters,
County.
yes.
And
Oh, we
over
need them
the
to come out
first
and vote.
2 days, we've had 3,547 people come out and vote.
Okay, polls are open. Do it
It's not
again.
much.
Please vote.
We got to
Yep.
do it.
Thank you.
Senator, thank you, sir. You're live and local Real Talk. Weather's next. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Hey, for all you boaters and you people who like to fish and you have a boat, if you'd like to provide some opportunities for Marines from deployed units to have a little fun once they get back here to Camp Lejeune or New River, you need to stop in at Tideline Marine. Talk with George. Tomorrow, there's going to be a big event, Take the Troops Fishing, sponsored by Tideline Marine, organized by Tideline Marine. And there are going to be at least 4 staffers from Tideline Marine taking their boats out tomorrow, and a bunch of the pro staffers out there, the other anglers, people who shop, come in Tideline, other people who just heard about it. They have volunteered themselves and their boats for a half a day on the river tomorrow. From 7 o'clock, going to leave at 7 o'clock, going to be back by noon, going to have a cookout.
Nice.
Hot dogs, hamburgers, and stuff.
What time's the cookout?
It's 12 o'clock.
Okay.
You can come down and help cook.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah, you can do that. There's no doubt about that. Well, you'd be welcome. Tideline Marine, it's your one-stop shop for all sorts of things. This is the first event this year. But 6 months from now, when the next unit comes back from their MU, when they come back, George's going to do it again.
Awesome.
Okay? That's the plan, is to do it every time one of the units comes home. A welcoming home ceremony, so to speak.
Perfect.
And for the anglers amongst them, those people who they don't have a chance to go fishing, they don't have a boat, perhaps. Well, it's not going to cost them anything. Just bring your fishing pole. Make sure you got a fishing license. That's all they got to do. They picked out the unit, and they've all submitted names, so we'll have them tomorrow. It's the first event, but get in line for the next one if you would like to do that. Tideline Marine and Family, 159 Old Bridge Street on the banks of the New River in downtown Jacksonville. They got us October sales going on right now. You've got about another week to go, a week and a day, and for the October sales. Don't know what's going to happen in November, so give it a whirl. Northerly winds offshore today, 10 to 15 knots, seas 2 to 4, dominant period 6 seconds, sounds in rivers a moderate chop. Tomorrow, northeasterly winds 5 to 10, seas 2 to 3, dominant period 7 seconds, sounds in rivers only a light chop. And on Wednesday, northwesterly winds 5 to 10, becoming southwesterly in the afternoon, seas 2 to 3 feet.
And today is partly sunny with a high near 74, north winds around 7 miles per hour. Tonight, areas of fog after 5 a.m., partly cloudy with a low around 51. Tuesday, areas of fog before 10 a.m., otherwise mostly cloudy, then gradually becoming sunny with a high near 76. Tuesday night, partly cloudy, lows 56. Wednesday, mostly sunny with a high near 79.
Okay, if you plan on driving after drinking,
Oh, no.
in Jacksonville, this is going to be a bad week for you. Jacksonville police are warning that through Halloween, next Monday, that there will be an intensified and concentrated enforcement effort underway to take drunk drivers off the streets and highways of Jacksonville.
Good.
It's all part of a statewide Booze It and Lose It campaign. Do not be surprised if you're driving to find yourself pulling up to a road checkpoint. In years past, those checkpoints have done a lot to catch impaired drivers. In recent years, police have found a lot of operators with revoked licenses from previous DWI convictions and a disturbing number of violations of both seatbelt laws. And this is the one that gets me. At 1 o'clock in the morning, you got kids in your car and you don't have them strapped in?
Seriously.
What in the world are you doing out at 1 o'clock in the morning? Number one, with your kids, and number two, they're not strapped in.
Yep.
You're going to get a ticket.
Yes, you are.
I would take your car.
Endangerment right there.
Call a cab. Send the kids home in a cab. You might be surprised to find that police also find that a lot of drivers don't have mandatory insurance. Let me explain something to you. Imagine the mess and expenses that you will incur should one of those guys run into your car.
Right.
It's all on you and your insurance company.
That's right.
Then you'll have to fight with your insurance company.
That's right. Your insurance company covers if the other one doesn't. And
Last year during the Halloween Booze It and Lose It campaign, there were 4 alcohol-related crashes in Onslow County. Okay?
4.
4.
That's a lot.
How many other people got away? Don't know. If you're going to go out and celebrate, either take a dedicated driver, okay?
DD.
You're DD. That doesn't mean drunk driver. That means a dedicated driver. Or take advantage of any number of services that can take you home safely. There's Uber and whatever all that bunch of are.
Yellow cab.
Yellow cab. You got cab drivers. You got all sorts of folks out there to help take care of you to make sure you get home safely. Okay. That's one of the things that's happening this week, beginning now. So be ever so careful. I'm sure it's being done in other communities. Probably the sheriff's office has got the same thing because this is a statewide effort. I just got the release from the Jacksonville Police Department. Good morning, Steve. You're back.
Hey guys, I want to say I'm sorry for being so hostile towards your guests, and I appreciate y'all letting us have a voice.
Yeah, well, everybody's got a voice.
No, Senator Lazaro, he'll listen. Whether he agrees or not, he's right there with you.
And the only thing I'm saying, Steve, because I listened to him in here too, I heard what he was saying. He said, I cannot say for definite sure that one way or the other. He's not hedging his bet. And yes, he does know that there were issues and there are potential issues, but he's not saying that any of that would have caused any change in the election 2 years ago. I'm not saying. Can I tell you
what I think a proper response would be to a question that a Republican to answer that question? Is that you say that the evidence shows that the 2020 election was free and fair. There were some anomalies of voter fraud in certain areas, but nothing that would have overturned the vote in even a single precinct.
Okay, that's how you would respond to it.
But that's an honest representation of what actually happened.
That's how you.
No, sir. That is what the evidence shows, and I offer you to show me anything that would defy what I just said.
Let me explain to you. That's what your interpretation of the evidence shows. Now,
sir, with all due respect, it's not just my interpretation. You show me anybody who's looked at it. Hello?
Okay, I'm here.
Okay. You show me anybody who's looked at it, even from the Republican side, who said this. And the point I was trying to really make to him is that Donald Trump is not going around saying that there's some anomalies, and that people in the Republican Party that are supporting that and repeating the same thing, they're not saying there was some anomalies. They're flat out saying it was a fraud and stolen. I can't understand why you can't get a Republican candidate to take a firm stance on either that's true or it's not true. They keep wanting to say, well, I don't know. And it's their responsibility to know. It's not, they can't just stand up there about something that is such a bold claim being made by a large portion of their party and be like, well, I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't.
Your beef.
At what amount of evidence do they have to see to make them believe that it was a free and fair election? I mean, I don't understand it. It seems like a lot of Republicans haven't really looked at the evidence. You know, it's like they're putting their head in the sand and they don't want to see the evidence. Because if you looked at the evidence, it's irrefutable. Mm-hmm. Everybody had told him in the White House that the election was not stolen. His family, his friends, his advisors, his attorney general, and all them people would testify to that. But either you haven't seen that, or you just think they could all be lying, and that they're the authority, but you don't want to believe them.
Yeah,
they're the Republican Party's authority. You don't want to believe them.
Yeah, well, and again, your interpretation of evidence is just like my interpretation of evidence. It's how we look at it. But some of us.
No,
hold on. I'll let you talk. I'll let you talk.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Now, but when I look at something and I see that there is a possibility of an issue happening, just like Senator Lazaro did with those stupid machines that he was told, the entire Senate was told that those machines did not have modems in them. Because the reason you ask a question like that, the reason you want to know is because that is one of the easiest ways to get into a machine. Why do they have a modem in them? Now, whether that had anything to do with the last election, they don't know. They don't think so.
Here's the smoke screen. But here's the smoke screen, Rayford. It's been 2 years, and he still don't know. It's been 2 years.
Well, you cannot.
And he still don't know.
You cannot prove it.
But wait. Here's the thing. Those are modems.
Yes.
Are they wireless or are they wired modems?
It doesn't really matter, to be honest with you.
Yes, it does. It does. If they're just modems. Wait a minute.
Is easier.
Wait a minute. If it's a wired modem, then you have to physically connect it with an Ethernet cable. And those machines are proprietary. You can't just hook a normal Ethernet cable up to them. and I'm sure Lee will attest to that, that everything that hooks to those machines is proprietary. It has to come from the people who make them. And then, so he's not, what he's trying to do is he's trying to create a fog.
No,
And as a leader, you try and clear the fog. You don't create a fog.
He's trying to
Can you
eliminate the
understand that?
possibility. It's what he's doing.
But he's not. He's creating a. Here's the thing, man. This is the game they're playing. And a lot of people see this, and you've seen it too if you've looked. Is they try and create the fog that something could have happened, but then they never go to try and present the proof that it did happen.
He's trying to
because once
what he said was he's trying to prevent it from happening. That's what he said.
The type of politics, I know, but the type of politics he's doing, the same thing I'm saying. Why couldn't he take a concrete stance on what Donald Trump and the Republican Party is doing is either right or wrong? He tries to sidestep it.
Your beef is with Donald Trump, and you know that.
Well, it's not just Donald Trump. It's the Republican Party and what's going on in it, man. The momentum's building for that type of politics. There are a lot of people who are running for other offices that are saying the same thing.
There are two Republicans that shared this office with me, and neither one of them like what Trump did.
I get that. But what I'm saying is that there is a divide in the Republican Party happening right now.
Yeah.
And there's a battle going on between people who believe in this lie and people who don't believe in this lie.
Absolutely.
And if you're trying to talk to any Republican about it, who's running for office, they try to avoid it because they know that's going to hurt their vote if they come out against it or for it.
That's a possibility.
It's going to hurt their vote in one way.
All right, we got another caller, Steve. Thank you.
All right.
Bye,
Thanks,
Steve.
Howard, how are you?
Well, I don't know. We're lobbing
Take a
ammo
breath.
around here today. It sounds like.
Take a breath. Yes.
But anyway, I just wanted to remind everybody in this listening audience that Hillary still does not accept the election from 2016. Said that election was stolen from her.
Yep.
And Stacey Abrams does not accept the election in Georgia that she lost. And now they a reporter asked her, if you lose this time around, will you accept the results? She said no.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it's both sides. It's not just one side.
It's hard-headed politics, okay?
I just get so tired of hearing this stuff, okay? I mean, I really do. You know, we should get rid of the Electoral College and pack the Supreme Court. And you know what? Both of those things would mean if they packed the Supreme Court and they elected me president, what do you think the first thing I would do to the Supreme Court?
Change it.
Oh, you betcha. But I'd make sure that my party, the Republican Party, would be in the majority.
Yep.
Yeah. But I mean, leave it the same. It's been this way since what, the 40s or something, or even longer than that. But I'm telling you, did I like the election returns? And poor the senator that you just had on, he's a great guy. I wanted to get through there and tell him that now, thanks to him being on the air, I got to order a pizza tonight because I'm craving one of his pizzas.
You know, Howard, that's a good. I know what I want for dinner now. Yeah.
Oh, my mouth is watering. If he was open right now, I would call in. You know, but I mean, and I love the lasagna. It's a great restaurant.
Yes.
But the thing is, the first thing I heard when he was running, I said to one of the employees, I hope for God's sake he doesn't sell a place now.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, that's a great
But,
we won't
but
let
the
him.
whole thing is, it's on both sides.
It
It's
is.
not just on one side.
Yeah.
So for somebody to call, and he's a state senator, he has no control over the federal policy for elections.
Nope.
He has control over North Carolina. I mean, he has say-so with that. But North Carolina ran a fair election. There was no discrepancies. There was no putting ballot boxes underneath the table and counting and sending everybody home like they were saying.
That's
So
right.
like I say, for goodness sake, go and vote if you want to change things around here. Other than that, it is the way it is. Every election, somebody loses. Just like I'm sure the New York Yankees aren't very happy that they lost.
Oh, please, I know.
There you go.
Oh,
All right,
so
Howard.
upset.
Or my beloved Green Bay Packers losing 3 in a row. St. Vince Lombardi is rolling over in his grave, for goodness sake, you know.
Yeah.
But the point is, somebody's got to win, somebody's got to lose. Get over it.
There we go.
That's
All right.
my final say.
Like every coach says, wait till next year. Thank you, Howard.
All right, no problem.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Who's this? Good morning. Oh, they hung up. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. You're live and local Real Talk. Freedom 97.1, 1120 a.m. WSME. Lines will be open as soon as we get back. 910-333-0139. Okay, we're back. President Biden, if you were holding earlier, you can call back now, 910-333-0139. We got to do another break in just a minute.
Yes.
President Biden seems to be catching grief from all sides. In an interview, MSNBC's Jonathan Capehart was asking the president about his intentions to seek a second term in 2024 and asked if the First Lady, Dr. Bill Jiden, supported a reelection bid. The president paused
What?
and looked down at the floor. After a time, the reporter said, "Mr. President?" Well, he responded slowly, "Dr. Biden thinks that my wife thinks that that I that we're
I
that
can't.
we're doing something very important."
I can't listen to him. I just can't.
I'm really. Of course, the attacks were instantaneous on social media
Sure.
platforms, from those who don't like Biden to members of various media. One guy with the handle of Corn Pop Gangster wrote, "You know, I don't agree a lot of times with him, but he is declining fast. And this is how he will be remembered when he finally leaves. It's just sad." I suspect the First Lady had another hissy fit when she saw that interview. After an earlier news conference when Biden was seemingly lost in thought, Dr. Biden threw that hissy fit, telling the staff that he should never be left alone without a handler when he's with the media. I have to agree. But as has been written, why should the most important and most powerful man in the world need someone to babysit him? The pressures are indeed beyond belief for the president, any president. But if he can't handle himself and deal with those pressures, he's not the person we need in that position. Maybe he needs a few weeks out of the limelight. If he had a press secretary worth more than a nickel, someone with at least half a brain, and a vice president who is not useless, perhaps he could get some rest. Everyone needs to be able to escape from time to time, including the president of the United States. All right, let's take a break. You're live and local. Call back. We'll be right back. And we're back here for a couple more minutes. Jacksonville PD is cautioning all of us to choose secure methods of arranging transactions for stuff that you buy online. Just this month, the Charlotte Mecklenburg Police Department reported a Facebook marketplace transaction resulted in the shooting of an individual interested in purchasing a car from an online seller. People have even posted rental listings pretending to be the owner and they got a deposit.
Right.
Duh. When the real owner, who could be on vacation or when they come home, he finds strangers living in his house.
Uh-oh.
There are other scams where someone obtains the item advertises but refuses to pay. So in other words, you're selling something, you go to give it to the guy, and he says, I ain't giving no money for it, takes it and leaves.
That's right.
Don't
pay in advance.
And phone scams where people can become threatening and make the other person feel intimidated to pay them or else be turned into law enforcement. Who falls for that crap?
Yeah,
Apparently
really.
a lot. A lot of these calls come from other countries and are difficult to trace, especially when using what they call VoIP, voice over internet protocol technology. That's making a call with your computers. Investigators down at the PD recommend that if you're paying online, use a widely accepted payment method. Do not create new accounts for payment that you do not already readily use and trust. Whenever possible, look at the item in person to ensure it is as advertised or is still available. This is especially true for advertised homes, okay?
Yes. Oh, most
Do not
definitely.
pay beforehand for promised goods or services. Public Safety Chief Michael Yanero wants to remind citizens of the reserved internet purchase exchange space. They've got one
That's
at
right.
the
Yes,
police
they do.
department located in the parking lot. It's got a sign there.
Cameras.
Everything. It's in the parking lot of the Jacksonville Center for Public Safety, 200 Marine Boulevard. You can also make exchanges in the lobby of the Public Safety Building, which is open from 8 a.m. till midnight. You can go into the lobby if you want to have an exchange there.
That's
If
right.
somebody is reluctant to meet you at the cop shop,
Then you don't need to
there's
be doing
there's
business
yeah.
with them.
Just say, I'm not
That's
selling it to you, and I'm not buying it from you.
Absolutely.
If you don't want to meet me at the police department. So just don't go trying to buy a gun and take that inside the police station, okay?
Right. Yeah.
That's going to end
That
up
would
being
be
bad
good.
for all concerned. All right. What we got tomorrow? You're going to be in
We've
here, you and
got
Kelly.
Lorette from the Chamber of Commerce,
Uh-huh.
Jacksonville Onslow Chamber of Commerce. She's going to catch us up on all the chamber news
Uh-huh.
and talk about the Christmas parade
Yeah,
also.
that's coming up right around the corner.
Right.
Yeah,
It
even
sure
before
is.
Thanksgiving.
Boy, this morning went fast.
This morning just
Gotta
flew,
catch my
thanks
breath.
to Senator Lazara.
Yeah. So it was
for
great
all of
having
that.
him.
And I had a friend of mine, a dive buddy of mine now.
Yes.
He called last night, and he said he listened to us on Friday,
Yes.
and he had the best time listening
Really?
with Jerome Willingham in here. He
Yes.
said, he had some advice, but I,
Oh, yeah.
whatever.
Okay. All right.
But anyway, that was an interesting show
Yes,
as well.
it
So
was.
that's
It's
two in a row.
good to hear both sides.
It is. It's
Always
great to
good
hear
to hear
all
both
sides.
Right.
That's what we're here for. So I won't be here in the morning, but I will be calling in. I'll be Skyping
Yes.
in to tell you about what we're doing tomorrow
Right.
down at Tideline Marine. So I'll be handling that.
All right.
Okay.
Well, I hope it all goes well.
I hope
and
we
y'all
catch fish.
some fish.
I want some fish. That's all
That's
I want.
right.
And then I want to eat some hamburgers and hot dogs and stuff for lunch.
Ooh, sounds good.
All right. I will talk with you later, and I will see
Okay.
you on Wednesday.
All
No,
right.
I think you're here Wednesday.
Rest of the week.
Okay. You're live and local, Real Talk, Freedom 97.1, 1120 a.m., WSME. Fox News is next at 10 o'clock is the Daily D's with our friend, Rick Dees. And at 3 o'clock this afternoon, Hollywood Man in the house.